All right, our friend Dr. Penguin sent us a couple harps. He said there's issues with the crimp. This is a Harp. Let's see if you can see this. And it looks like it's closer on one side. And when I want to see if a harp is closer on one side, I like to hold it up to like either a computer screen or a window, holding it just like this so I can look at the gaps, or a white lit wall. Let's go compare this Harp to the wall and see where the issue is. Okay, here we have a nice brightly lit back wall so we can hopefully take a look at our gaps. Now this is a voiceover. The audio didn't work out too well on this, so I'm holding this like here so that I can see the gaps, but I don't want to hold it like that. I want to hold it straight up and down because the gaps can lie to you, your perception can lie to you. And if we look on this side, it looks like it's closer. Gaps closer on that side, it's not compressing evenly. That side's touching first on the left-hand side. So we're going to have to move that reed over. We're going to adjust the crimp and push it over so that it's even, so that we have even gaps. You don't want this harp to click anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this harp out to the shop, and I'm doing a voiceover, so I don't remember exactly what I was saying, but let's just go ahead and we'll head right back over to the shop and we'll get this done. One of the ways we're going to do that is if we were to think of this reed, and it's moved to this side very slightly. These gaps are hair width or so. It's moved to this side slightly. So we're going to want to adjust the crimp. We're going to want to tighten here and here, like if we were to put pressure on it, and move this way. If your reed is out of alignment this way, you can put pressure here and here and move it. Those points are here, this upper portion and here. If I want to move the reed this way, I can tighten the crimp back here, tighten it up there. It's going to move. Next thing we're going to need here is some type of hard metal object. This is a homemade anvil made out of a piece of railroad track. This is a smaller railroad track because it was the original railroad track that ran through Kansas here. Now I'm going to attempt to adjust this. Now this harp has a frame that I am not used to working with, so I'm going to try to adjust this crimp without having to adjust the frame. When we beat on crimps, a lot of the time it'll deform the frame in these dimensions. So arms will grow this way or grow outward. So we're going to try to be very, very gentle with this. You're going to need a hard metal object. You're going to need a hammer of some type. And you're going to need what I use, a little flat punch. Most of the time I'm using a bigger punch. That's probably, I'd say that's a quarter inch. Yeah, that's a 1/4 inch or a little over 1/2 millimeter. Anyways, first thing to do is figure out which direction you want the crimp to travel, or the reed to travel. Okay, I want it to turn this way. So we're going to go up, we're going to look down on it. Let's see if we can get right. There we go, that's a good perspective. Now, which way do I want this to turn? It's out of alignment this way. So I want to move it back. So I'm very, very carefully going to tap here at this front corner and this back corner because I want to move it back. Very, very careful. I'm just going to tap it as lightly as I can. Then I'll look and see what happened. Still just a little bit closer. So I'm going to go on this back portion. And we're going to tap it. I want it to go that way. So I'm just going to give it just a little, ever so light tap. We'll take a look, take a gander. Oh, that's got it. I think we are good. Ha! That's all it took. Now, if I was to go hitting hard on this reed, it would deform over more, and then I would have to correct that with the frame, or it would deform the frame in these dimensions. Let's see if we can take this to a white lit wall and see if we did any good. The sound now. Hey, the dogs be barking. Yeah, we are good there. Good there. I like it. Yeah, I like that. Before we was getting a little bit of clicking or a little bit more of these These Harp de Nov are gapped extremely tight. I was getting a little bit more clicking because the reed was moved off to one side. So when I was putting any pressure at all or striking this reed very hard, it was clicking against the side. And we corrected that. And we did it by adjusting the crimp. The reed of the harp was out of alignment this way. It was this way, and we moved it back over. It was very, very fractionally, a fraction of a hair of a minute amount of an inch. It was closer, so we just moved it back, and we did it. We wanted it to travel in this direction. So I crimped right here, front part of the crimp, because front part of the crimp, I'm putting pressure for it to go this way, and then I crimped back part of the crimp, because if we're out of direction this way and we use our fingers as an analog for the crimp, the places where I'd want to put pressure are here and here to turn it. So we can put a little bit of pressure, crimping here, doop, crimping here, doop, both of those move it. Now, if it was the opposite way, I would do the opposite thing. I'd want to put pressure here and here. Wah. So I would crimp, tink, 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 tink. And the trick is, try smaller blows, very light blows with the hammer first before you go hitting it harder, because when you hit that frame harder, what's going to tend to happen is an arm is going to go up, or it's going to deform out, or the reed's going to travel too far. And once the reed travels too far, it becomes very problematic to get it back to where it is. So the trick in this is go a light touch. And if anybody's interested in the future, I might put more chang that need adjusted on the Harpery for really cheap, maybe 10 or 15 bucks for a handful of them. So you can try your own hand at adjusting harps, because a harp, if you start out with a Harp de Nov or trying to adjust a Mohan, it's going to be a little bit more tricky because you're dealing with closer tolerances. So I would start off, if you're going to try to adjust a harp, try to adjust a harp that has bigger gaps first. Things we'll need: anvil or anvil-like object, small hammers, smaller is better sometimes, and some flat nose punches. Let's go, and we're going to look at the gaps and look and see how well we did. We know this sounds good. Let's take a look at the gaps. Okay, let's take a look at these gaps and see if it looks any bit more even. It looks like we're shooting right down the middle of there. I don't look to be closer on the left side or the right side. Gaps are looking good. Liking what I'm seeing. So that's one of the ways I look at the gaps. You can hold it in front of a window or a nice brightly lit white wall or in front of a computer screen, and we see it was closer on the left hand side, and when we adjusted our crimp, it moved it over. We're compressing evenly, so things are looking good for this harp. But let's get a ear. All right, so we got our jaw harp back in working order, got it adjusted, and it only took a little bit of patience, a little bit of know-how, and a few taps from a hammer. Now, if you have any additional questions at all, please be sure to comment below. Or if you have a jaw harp and you don't have the means to work on it, you could always email us at theharpery@gmail.com. That's theharpery@gmail.com, and we take a look. Or if you're interested in an anvil, we do have some Rajasthani anvils being forged, and they're going to be for sale in the Harpery eventually. So anyways, I hope this video helped you. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more Harpery. Keep your harps clean, keep them dry, keep them old. Most of all, enjoy the jaw harp, learn about the jaw harp, and be good to each other. Harp out.